Okay, welcome everybody. This is JK'z Rewatchable Hour presents George Muzzy's Walking Dead perspective. I'm gonna come up with I have some episodes in mind. I'm gonna come up with them, and we're gonna talk about different areas of the Walking Dead, including the spin-offs, not just the main show. I'm gonna talk about. I've watched almost all of the spin-offs. The only one I'm still watching Fear the Walking Dead. I'm at the beginning of season 5. I think there's 8 seasons in Fear the Walking Dead. Um and I have not the only one other one I haven't watched, I have not watched the second season of Dead City. All the rest of the spin-offs I have watched. Now, this first episode, I just want to talk about how I came to watch The Walking Dead, how I became a Walking Dead fan, and an interesting story. If you've seen our show, watched our show, you know that I sometimes have elaborate dreams, and that's going to play into my story. I don't know if it's because of the mental things I've gone through, the physical things I've gone through in my life that opens my mind more and makes some of my dreams really elaborate dreams. So I had heard people at work, different places, talking about The Walking Dead, but I never watched it, had never seen it. My daughter, probably 10 years ago, that would put her probably either a junior, probably late in her junior year. No, probably in her junior year of high school. Maybe early senior year. I don't remember. I know it was in the fall. She came to me and she said, "Dad, we had cable TV at the time." She said, "Dad, could you every Sunday night for me DVR The Walking Dead? I'll watch it sometime during the week and I'll delete it." I was like, "Yeah, no problem." So I did that for her for a while. Then one day, one Saturday morning, I was still working overnights. I just started the current job I'm in. Um, no, I think it's actually I just started another job that I only had for like a year, and then I went into this job. I had started. I didn't have much time into the company, but I was working overnights. One Saturday morning, me and my son were sitting in the living room watching something, and then something else came on, but we didn't pay attention to what was on. My daughter comes out and says, "Can I watch my show? I've missed a few weeks. Can I watch my show?" I was like, "Sure." She turned it on, started watching. We watched like 4 episodes. By the end, I was like, I need to know what happens next. I'm hooked, you know, I need to know what's going on. So I told her, well, don't delete it when you watch the next ones unless I've told you that I've already watched it. So I got into it, and they were, when I started watching it, they were already in Alexandria.
Okay.
I believe it was right around the time they were going to expand Alexandria, and they found a bunch of walkers at the stone quarry that they were blocked by trucks and different things, and they were making a plan to get rid of them, to not kill them because there was too many of them, but to reroute them away from them, with noise and whatnot. And while they were planning it, they were planning to do it in a couple days. When they were planning it, one of them broke free, and then the rest started to break free. So, you know, they had to reroute them, and those were the 4 or 5 episodes that we watched that day. Later in the show, as I'm watching it episode by episode now, Carol decides she's leaving, not telling everybody, but she's leaving. But Rick and Morgan follow her.
Okay. Yep.
And while they're while Rick and Morgan are following her, trying to catch up to her. She's ahead. They don't see her, but they know like where she's been. They see evidence along the way that Carol was here, so they're following her. The topic comes up of, well, I've done some things, Rick says, and Carol's done some things, and Morgan says, well, I've done some things. So I said to my daughter, I'm like, what have they done? And she said, it'd be better if you went back and watched it. She said, go on Netflix, watch it, and catch up. Then you'll understand what's going on. So, working overnights, it's starting hunting season. So I'm out hunting and whatnot on my days off. What I did when I worked overnights is I came home, showered, took care of the dogs, anything I had to do, and then I went to bed in the morning. And I wake up in the early evening, probably 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'm up the rest of the night until I go to work. So while I'm sitting there after dinner, I got my tablet and I got an earbud in and I'm listening. I'm watching 2 to 3 episodes a night. On my days off, if I'm not out hunting, I'm watching episodes on my days off. Or if I go out hunting, I'm coming back and I'm watching. Now, and I've been doing this, it's been a couple weeks now that I'm watching, and I'm watching, episode after episode after episode. So basically, other than work, sleep, it's Walking Dead because I'm trying to get caught up. And because I'm trying to get caught up so that way I'll know what's going on. And then now it was already planned that the next summer, because I had just started this job, my wife had planned a vacation with her family, with her mom's side of the family, to South Carolina. They were just going to meet. They weren't going to do anything special. They were just going to meet, stay at somebody's house, and they were all just going to hang out and do local things, just do little things. So I'm like, well, I can take the week off, but I won't get paid for it. I won't have vacation. So I'll stay home because I can't afford to lose a week's pay.
Yeah.
Not that I need the money, but I can't.
You don't want to go without
I
it.
need it to pay the bills. We still have to, the bills still have to be paid. So this was planned, but this is still in the late fall, early winter. So now that's all I've been doing is just Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead. So one night I have a dream, and the dream starts out like you've seen it on a lot of shows where they show just little video, little blips of something happening. And what it is I'm seeing little news clips about, well, there's one case of somebody that appears to die and come back to life and wants to eat everybody. And then it's little clips of that on and off, going back and forth. It's nice weather out, so it's summer. And it spans over like a week during the dream. Like I go to work and like the first night I don't, I might see one person. Now working overnight, I'm not going in till like 9, 10 o'clock. So it's dark outside. And I maybe see one weird meandering figure. And then like maybe the next night or two, I see 3 or 4, just kind of, and it's just, you find it weird. It's just little clips. So then they were leaving. When they planned on leaving on vacation was Thursday night, like in the evening. So I come home, I go to bed. Now I wake up about 4:30, help them pack up the cars so they can leave. And I say goodbye and they're all gone. They leave. So now I'm doing my thing and I'm like each night I'm seeing a little bit more meandering people and at weird times in weird places. So now fast forward, it's like Tuesday of the following week. They've been gone. They're not coming back until the following weekend, till that weekend. And now it's all over the news. If you're not in you need to find a safe place. You need to, this is becoming an epidemic. This is, and I go to work that night. And then we have a meeting at work that at 8:00 in the morning, our company for the time being is closing down. We can't stay running. We have to close down. The government officials are telling us we have to shut work down, and you find someplace safe until this is done, until they figure out what's going on and how to fix it. Well, now, right at this point, cell phones are still working, and me and my wife are communicating, and she says, well, they're not going to let us leave the state. We're going to a safe haven in South Carolina. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Thursday, I'm coming to you.
What?
Me and my father-in-law, because my father-in-law also did not go on the vacation. I said, I've been talking with him. We're headed to you. She told me where the place was, where they were gonna go, and we looked it up. We found it on the map and whatnot, and we're like, we're gonna go there. That's where we're gonna go. We're gonna pack up and we're gonna head down. So Thursday, and we're gonna leave in the evening. We're gonna do some of our driving at night, as opposed to during the day. Because I could stay up all night because I'm used to working overnights. I'm like, I can just drive all night. So Thursday, I wake up about 2:00 in the afternoon, and I hear noise outside of my house. Now, I don't know if everybody knows, but there's a field. My in-laws own it. There's a field in between my house and my in-laws' house. We have connecting properties. They own the field, but somebody mows it and bales it every year. Well, the sound I was hearing was the tractor that was baling the hay had gone into the ditch. So the wheel was still turning, but it wasn't moving, and the baler is still, the sound of the baler when there's no hay in it, but the plunger keeps moving back and forth. Yeah. That's the sound I'm hearing.
Oh, geez.
And it's because the person on the tractor got attacked by walkers. So I go out, but I go out with one of my firearms, and it doesn't take me long to realize I have to shoot these things in the head,
right,
to kill them, because I've been shooting them, and I'm shooting them center mass in the chest, and they're not stopping.
Oh my!
So I end up putting them down, and I shut the tractor off. I go back in the house, I get all of my things ready, and I put it in my car. And at the time, I had a Pontiac Vibe. If anybody knows what a Pontiac Vibe is, it was a 2009. It was a 5-speed, but it's a small compact car. But I have a 40-mile commute. So it gets about 35 miles to the gallon. So I'm like, that's perfect. I spend a little over, and with the price of gas, I spend a little over 2 gallons of gas to get to work and home.
Okay.
So I load that up, and I get my 2 dogs, not the dog that I currently have, the one that has passed away, and my wife's little dog. And I don't know why we didn't have our 3rd dog, because at the time we had 3 dogs. I don't know why the 3rd dog wasn't in the dream, but he was not in the dream. I load them in the car after I get all of my stuff loaded, and I drive down to my father-in-law's. Now, my father-in-law has borrowed he has a big Dodge Ram. And he had borrowed somebody's covered trailer that's a covered car trailer. So I'm going to drive my car and strap it down inside the trailer, and the front there's another room that we were going to use as like sleeping quarters if we needed to stop and get out of the truck and sleep. Well, while I'm in the house after putting the dogs in the truck and putting the car in, strapping it down, loading everything up and closing the back, I go in to help him bring out the last of his stuff. He says, "Here's what I got. I have to go do something. I'll be right back." And he went out the back door. In the end, I actually had to put him down because he got attacked by walkers while outside.
Holy cow.
Ones that I may have missed. So I'm like, well, so I'm still going. I'm not, just because, we're one person short, I still have to go. I have to go to them. So I get into the truck. Now my plan was, I already had the plan in the adjoining town in Interlaken. There's a sporting goods store where the guy sells guns and he sells firearms, he sells.
Oh yeah.
But I was going to take my rifle, which is New York State legal, and get it switched. He was going to switch it for me and make it so I could, because in New York State you can't remove the clip. You can't have a gun where the clip removes. It has to be a certain amount, has to be plugged where you can only put 10 rounds in it, and it has to be non-removable. So I was going to have him switch it so I could remove it and put new clips in.
Right.
Well, he did that, and he gave me some ammo. He said, "I'm getting ready to shut the shop down. I'm going to go meet my son. He lives up near the mountains. I'm going to go up there, and we're going to stay at his camp. It should be safer there." So he gave me some stuff. He said, "I'm locking, everything else is getting loaded into my truck, and we're heading up. Me and my wife are heading up to the mountains right after you leave." So I get back in the truck. I get all loaded up. I get back in the truck, and now I head out, and I head through Watkins Glen. In Watkins, I decide I'm stopping at Walmart to pick up some supplies.
Of course.
Well, Walmart, there's a few cars in the parking lot, but other than that, everything I see is abandoned. Everything's abandoned. So I'm like, oh, maybe they're not even open. But I go in, and there's two people inside.
And there's zombies. No.
A man and a woman. There's a man and a woman in Walmart, and they let me in. They're like, "Oh, well, we thought you were the guy's father. He was supposed to come pick us up. We work here, but we don't drive. We don't have a car. He was going to come pick us up." And I'm like, "Okay." Well, I was like, "I need some stuff." And they're like, "Well, take whatever you want." And they help me. And I'm like, "So where do you guys live?" And they told me it was on the way to where I was headed. I was headed toward Elmira because that's going to take me to 15 and take me south.
Yeah.
So they told me where, and it's somewhere in between. There's one of the small towns, and I can't remember which one. You know the two towns I'm talking about on the way to Elmira, right on 14.
Pine Valley.
I'm not sure if it's Pine Valley or the other one.
Okay.
But there's two of them right there. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, well, on the way, we'll stop. Well, ended up, disaster happened at their house as well, and no one was there and alive. So they decided, we're going to go with you. We're going to ride with you. We have nothing here. That was our only family here. We're from down south. That was the only family we had in New York. So we're gonna go with you. Okay, so we get back in the vehicle and we're driving south, but we end up having to detour off of the interstates because there's deserted cars, just like you see on the show. If you've seen on the show where there's deserted cars, and they're blocking the road. We had to get off the main road and we had to take side roads. Fortunately, I had road maps and atlas because at this point, cell service is down.
It's down. Yeah.
Down. There's no cell service. There's no there's limited electricity anywhere you stop. So we start heading south on alternate routes. We run into at one point we had to stop. There was a couple cars blocking the road. We're like, we'll just move them out of the way. We moved the one car out of the way and we heard yelling from another car. We go over and it's a police car that was pulled over. The cop we already saw, he's passed away. He's dead. In the front seat of the car is a little girl. In the back of the police car is her mother, who has been bitten.
Oh.
So she purposely locked herself in the back seat so she can't get out, because you can't get out of the back seats of a cop car, of a police car.
Right.
Because they only open from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And the cage is blocking her from getting her daughter in case she dies and turns. She made us promise to take her daughter with us and just leave her to pass away or whatever on her own.
Wow.
So we did. We took the girl and we started heading south. We got to southern Pennsylvania when we found a sanctuary, kind of like a safe haven, and we stopped for a while. We just needed a break because taking all these detours was taking way longer. Because basically, let's face it, if you're driving from New York to South Carolina, how long does it take?
I've
12
never
hours. About 12
12 or
hours.
16. Yeah, 12 to 14 hours.
Yep.
So this is taking way longer. I mean, we're days into this journey because we have to take detours and we have to detour around things. And at this safe haven, we meet a man, and well, we meet several people, but we meet one man and his daughter, who's a little bit older than the girl that we are taking with us. And he says, well, I don't want to stay here. If you guys are heading south, could I hitch a ride? And we're like, okay, that sounds good. But while we're there, the husband of the couple I met in Watkins Glen, he's starting to enjoy being there. He likes being there. He wants to stay. Even so much so, we stay there probably 3 or 4 days. He goes out with some of the other people to do different, to fix up the fence or do this and do that. And in the process, he gets taken down.
Oh.
So his wife was all about staying there until he went down. Then she said, well, I don't want to stay where where this happened to him. Right. And it ended up, there was a couple other guys that wanted to leave as well. So they grabbed their vehicle, and now we had like 3 vehicles, like a 3-vehicle convoy to head south.
Wow.
Along the way through Virginia, we find a couple military trucks.
Okay.
Where there's military guys in it. There's military personnel in them. They ran out of fuel and ran out of ammo, so they had to barricade in the vehicle. We ended up luring the walkers away from their vehicle, and so they ended up joining us. I happened to be the ammo I carry. Is for a lot of the ammo I carry. One of it is for an AR-15, which is the civilian version of an M16, except for it's not automatic. There's no auto on an AR-15. So we pick them up and we go farther south, and we make it to the South Carolina location. when we enter and I explain who I am, they let us in, of course, and they explained to us that my wife and her family have left.
Oh,
They decided because they figured I wasn't coming because it had been like 2 weeks now.
right. Yeah.
Right. Well, stop
Um,
picking up people. You would have made it sooner.
Right. So they said, but we know where they're headed.
You know,
They're headed to Florida to pick up the rest of, to get the rest of the family that didn't come up to South Carolina.
mhm.
So like, okay, so we go, I had the addresses of where some of the family made it.
Hmm.
I made it. Now, when we make it to Florida, we find my mother-in-law, her sister, and my brother-in-law. And if we've mentioned my brother-in-law before, he is mentally and physically handicapped. They're in a house, and I said, well, where's everybody else? Well, some of them went to so-and-so's house. I don't remember which aunt or uncle or it was house to get them. And the rest met up with a convoy. We're headed to just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. There's supposed to be a large military enforced area that's safe. Like, okay. So first of all, we all packed up, of course, and we go to pick up the rest of her family.
Hmm.
They're not there. They're just not there. We don't find them anywhere.
People need to stay
I'm
still.
like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I said, do we keep looking for them? And they're like, well, we've been to everybody's houses, so I don't know where they could be. So I'm like, well, there's only one other thing we could do is head to Little Rock. Maybe they're on their way. I said, we'll swing back by to see if they have stopped where you guys were holed up before. But if not, we're heading to Little Rock. So we make it to Little Rock. We never find her family.
Oh,
We don't know where they are. Don't know which direction they headed in. We get to Little Rock to where the location's supposed to be. And it's been overrun. Nobody there is alive.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so now what do we do? Where do we go? What do we do? And I'm sitting there. And here's a kind of a funny part of the story. Okay. At the time, my wife drove a Hyundai Tucson. It's purple. Okay. Her title and registration said blue. And I always argued with my wife. I always told her, I'm like, that is not blue. It's purple. It's purple. So we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden I see the purple Tucson sitting in the parking lot. And I'm like, that stupid purple Tucson. And I look, and now the whole back window is covered in dust. Okay. But it looks like there's somebody wrote on it. You know how like you have a dusty back window, somebody writes clean me or something like that? There was a little message. So I go out and I look. And it was basically like a makeshift map.
Oh,
it circled the name Tucson. Then it showed like a line, like a road. And then it showed the star with the circle around it. And if I'm not mistaken, Santa Fe is the capital of, or is it Phoenix? Of Phoenix, Arizona. Is it Phoenix? Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to remember which one it was. And then it showed a stop right before, like 3/4 of the way from from Tucson to the Capitol. It showed a little stop about 3/4 of the way. And I'm like, and there were pictures stuck in the window of my wife and kids and other, and I'm like, that's where they went. They're heading to Arizona. So, and I don't know why. I think it's because of something that happened in the show. Rick somehow always had his keys
Mm-hmm.
to the police department in his pocket. I reached into my pocket and I pulled out the spare keys for the Tucson.
Mm.
I started it. We loaded it on a trailer, strapped it down, and started heading toward Arizona.
Arizona.
Now, that's a long trip. So, especially when you have to detour.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah. So basically, on our way, we run into other people, some good, some bad, that the apocalypse has changed, just like you see in the movie. And we had some on the show, and we had some fights with people. Nothing that stands out in my mind, but then finally we arrive. Where we go past Tucson, and we're heading toward the Capitol, and we see a camp. I'm like, well, I don't want to go in after the people we just ran into, like we ran into some in Texas, and then we ran into some. We went a little bit north, and we ran into some as we entered like Oklahoma and places like that. Once we saw them, we're like, I don't want to go into a facility before we know what they're like. So we observed them from a distance through a scope and through binoculars and whatnot, and we discovered it was where my family was. So then we enter. Now, along the way, we've picked up various things, and it's weird that no one in the show ever thinks of stuff like this. Like, yes, we picked up non-perishable food, water, things like that. But what people don't think about, we grab clothes and things like that. Because you might be in an apocalypse where you might not be able to shower every day or whatnot. But you know what? Sometimes it's just nice to put on a new pair of pants, a different pair of pants, I've wear the same pants. I mean, let's think about it.
There's some other things too.
Rick's walking around and thinking, look, I've been wearing the same pants for 7 years. What the hell?
What about the boxer shorts?
Yeah. I don't know why, but my mind thought of that. Grabbing some clothes, just something different. That no one ever thinks about, like I said, in the show. They never think about, hey, a nice new pair of boots. I've been wearing these boots. We've been walking, I mean, they walked in the show. They walked at least halfway from Georgia to Virginia when all their vehicles ran out of gas. They walked half of the distance.
Right.
And I'm like, your shoes would be worn terribly. So I thought of things like that. And that's what we use to get in. We're like, we have lots of supplies and whatnot, and we can help you.
Yep. Trade them off.
And we pulled our vehicles into the parking lot. Now, behind the truck, I don't have the big covered trailer behind the truck anymore. That's behind one of the bigger vehicles that we picked up along the way. I'm just hauling a small car trailer that has my wife's car on it. We pull in, and now you don't see it from my point of view anymore. Now, my youngest daughter looks over and says, Mom, isn't that your car?
Oh, my God.
And she goes, oh, my God. And then we're reunited, blah, blah, blah. And then I woke up. That was the end of the dream.
So,
but it was basically a journey from New York down into South Carolina, into Florida, and then over to Arizona. Which is probably the worst place I could go because I hate the heat. So I hate the brutal heat.
The whole entire time from start to finish, I'm I'm laughing in my mind. I'm trying not to interrupt, but I'm thinking like after you shot your father-in-law, I'm thinking like, okay, I think you're going to be reunited with your wife and kids, and after all of this, how would you explain why your father-in-law wasn't with
That
you?
I don't know. I'm almost glad I didn't have to get to that point.
Point,
But
right.
you think about, I don't even remember. I don't even remember how I explained to his wife when I picked her up in Florida.
Mm. Right.
After you shot, no, listen. After you shot your father-in-law, it's like, well, just gotta stop at Walmart real quick.
Well, no, I mean, we were. I think that was part of the plan. I think the plan was when it was both of us, we're going to the gun shop, and then we're gonna go through Watkins, and we're gonna stop at Walmart to grab supplies because it's a long trip. Even if you can use the highway, it's still a long trip. 12 hours is a long time for you to just be sitting in a car.
Done it many times.
But because because of the detours and everything we have to make, it took a lot longer. But basically, it was probably, I would have to say the whole journey was probably a 2-3 month journey.
Wow.
Because of the detours and whatnot. But,
yeah,
and you know how dreams play out. One dream can be 5 minutes long and have a lot of content, and the next one can be 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah.
Time doesn't exist when you sleep.
Right. And in your dream, your daughter and wife are so happy to see the purple car, but
well, it was odd. It was odd that a purple Tucson was on the back of a trailer. How many? I mean, it's not like right now I have a white Jeep. Right. How many white Jeeps? How many white Jeep Compasses or Cherokees are there? Hundreds of them, thousands of them, probably 100,000 of them. I don't know.
It's probably the most common color.
How many purple Tucsons have you seen?
Yeah, not many.
It's blue purple.
Right. I have seen one purple Tucson ever.
Yeah, there you go.
And it sat in my driveway every day.
It was in your dreams.
Yeah, it was in my dream.
Yeah. So, real quick, we got about 4 minutes before we hit our mark. So I didn't know if there was more, or we need to do a continuation, or
no. Basically that was, I just wanted to, as my opening show, I wanted to do how I came to watch it and an interesting thing that happened while I was in the middle of streaming all of these episodes. I mean, I think that was season 4. So basically, I streamed 3.5 seasons of The Walking Dead in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And it just has my mind constantly thinking of it.
And then you jumped six seasons.
Yeah.
But just so we don't go over, I just because we've got a couple minutes. I know you're going to come up with a title and everything, but I just don't want to go over and have to edit something out that was really
right. Yeah. I think I covered what I wanted to cover on my first episode. The rest will be the next few episodes, ladies and gentlemen, will be solo. It'll just be me on camera. I don't know if I'll be able to fix the name at the bottom, but as of right now, it may say, when I do my solos at the bottom of my screen, it might say J-Dubs. Unless I can figure out how to change it, and then if I can, then I can change it back after. But because I'll be on his account doing it. But we're going to have several episodes. I'm going to talk about many different aspects of the Walking Dead universe. I will talk about all of the shows, all of the spinoffs, all of the various, many various topics I have planned. I have a plan to tell how they all connect together, how some of them nothing is ever seen from the other shows. And I'm even going to talk about my take on the Tales of the Walking Dead, which is, like I said, it's like 5 or 6 individual episodes that have nothing to do with each other, but only one has connections with the real show, and that is Alpha. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been JK's Rewatchable Hour presents George Muzzy's take on the Walking Dead universe. Stay tuned for several more episodes. I have at least five more kind of planned out. Thank you for watching, and look to see more episodes.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Yep. All right.